Maybe bring the Circuits Effects tab and put some crazy effects on that. Maybe try some delay on that.
Electronisounds Audio, the YouTube channel for you.
Hey guys, what's happening? It's Dean from Electronisounds. Stick around. Today we're going to talk about using the Rozeta sequencers from Bram Bos inside of AUM on an iPad Air 2 to sequence the Novation Circuit. Okay, so first off, I want to show you guys how we're going to set up the routing today. I'm going to use the Novation Audio Hub 2x4. And what we're going to do first is we're going to, oops, sorry, my cable's caught around the light here, is we're going to plug, we've got the Apple USB to Lightning 3 adapter. This is going to give a USB out as well as a Lightning out. We're going to plug this into the iPad Air 2, okay? And then the yellow cord is going to the audio hub, and then the Lightning cord is going to a source of power. You know, so this could be going to like a, you know, a wall plug. I'm going to plug this into a powered USB hub back here. Okay, now we've got power to the iPad. Fantastic. Come on. Sorry. And what we're going to do is we're going to connect the circuit to the front of the audio hub today using these 1/4 inch to RCA cables. So we'll take a 1/4 inch out of the left output and we'll run that into the white input, and we'll take a 1/4 inch out of the right output and we'll run this into the red input. Alright. And we're going to make sure that the button on the front of the audio hub that says gain, low, and high is clicked in so that it's set to gain high. We're going to take, make sure that we got a power cord into the back of our circuit that's plugged in. And we'll take the included USB cord that comes with the circuit. We're going to plug that right into the audio hub here. And that's going to allow us to get power to the circuit from the AC and also get USB into the iPad. Now I know that all of you don't have the Novation Audio Hub, and you can just plug your circuit into your mixer or even just use headphones from your Novation circuit directly if you don't have a way to plug it into your iPad. But what we're going to do is we're going to take the audio output from the circuit and we're going to route that into AUM, and we're going to get just one more level of control over the whole mix. It's just another level of geekery that we can take it to, and especially if you've got the Novation Audio Hub with the inputs on the front like this, it's just a really convenient and easy way to get this going and set it up. But certainly follow along even if you don't have the audio hub. You can take your audio from the circuit and, you know, route it anywhere into your setup however you route your audio. So follow along, guys. The first thing we'll do is go ahead and start a new track inside of AUM, and we're going to go ahead and make this the destination for the audio coming from the circuit. We'll select the hardware input and we'll select the audio hub 2x4 as our input source here. Turn the volume on this track just down maybe just a little bit, and we'll start by adding a limiter to this track to make sure that we're protecting our ears, our headphones, and our speakers. We'll open this up here. I like to put the saturation on just the tiniest little bit amount. I think a little goes a long way. We're going to go to 0.04 for the saturation setting. I'm going to put the input level up just maybe like a decibel, and we're going to leave the ceiling setting to -0.5, and that's going to keep our audio signal from going over 0.5 decibels. And we'll go ahead and name this track at this point. We'll call this Circuit Audio. Okay, fantastic. So now we've got a channel coming, into the AUM here so that we can, hear all the audio that's coming out of the circuit. And we're going to start by getting a an audio unit of the Rozeta 808, okay? And this is what gave me the idea to try to sequence the circuit with the Rozeta plugins, is that if you open this plugin and you go to the little star menu here, and you scroll down, you'll see that there's actually a preset, key map template to correspond to the drums in the circuit. So I thought, well, let's give this a go, right? And what we can do is we can tell the sequencer that it's going to be sequencing the circuit. If we go to the menu over here and we click the MIDI routing button, and we assign here Rozeta to the circuit. And now, if we open up XOX Rozeta and we generate a pattern, whoa, let's get a little bit less volume here. We're right off the jump, we're already hearing the output of the circuit into the iPad here on this channel. Adjust some levels and see how we're doing. Check the level on the video recorder. Looking pretty good. Maybe about like that. Okay. So you see how we're getting just a tiny little bit of attenuation on this? This is exactly what we want. We want, this means that this is keeping that much decibels in line, sorry guys, with, with our setting here at the ceiling. So it's, pushing down just a couple of decibels of volume on some of those peaks to keep it, in line with that. And that's what you want. You don't want this going, real extreme, because that means you're pushing the level into that a little bit too hard. Okay. So now if we bring this up, we can actually, have full control over what we're... It's a little confusing because I keep trying to reach for the stop button on the circuit itself. We can, change these, pattern sequences, and on the first four, rather, on these last ones, we can go ahead and just mute those channels, because we're only using the first four channels because there's only 4 drum sounds inside of circuit. And so what we could do is to say we could, choose our bass drum. We could put like a, downbeat there. We could, make this like a 4 on the 4 on the floor part if we wanted. Okay, now we haven't selected any drums inside of circuit or anything like that. It's just by, setting up to whatever, is, set up in your circuit by default. What I've got in this circuit right now is just the factory settings. So if you've got just the factory settings in your circuit, this is exactly what, is going to be coming out of your circuit as well. We'll start by, going into the sessions and maybe picking, a session that is empty that we haven't, used yet. And maybe we'll set, set the tempo. 120, make sure that's the same, good deal. What we want to do, basically, is we'll do shift drum 1, and we can have control over, drum 1. That's a pretty nice kick drum. Just kind of scrolling, see if anything, really floats me here. Kind of like that one. It's pretty tight and punchy. We can change the pattern for the snare here. Cool. And then we could, shift drum 2. Okay. The snare is drum 2. Kind of like that, okay. So where it says, clap here is really going to be our drum 3, which is, sounds like it's currently a hi-hat. We can mute this 4th one so that we can really hear just what we're dealing with on the hi-hat. Maybe make a little pattern here, 8th notes. Okay, then we can go shift drum 3, right? And we can choose what, whatever. It doesn't have to be, that's the thing, guys, the circuit is a sampler, right? So you can load whatever samples you want into here. It doesn't have to be, drum sounds. It could be chord stabs or any number of things, and you can sequence it, these one-shots. You have to really think outside the box as to how you could use this creatively. You know what I'm saying? of like that. If we go to the mixer, I can turn the volume down on drum number 3, right? Shift, drum 3. Maybe kind of tune that. Maybe that's just not the right sound for this at all. That's kind of nice, just a little shaker. Go to the mixer tab and we can adjust the volume here on drum 3. Cool. And then we can turn this one back on again. This sounds pretty good actually already. We'll just leave that as it is, I think. Bring the volume down a little. Okay, but so here's the thing, guys. So now we're officially controlling the circuit, with the 808 sequencer here inside of Rozeta. But one of the neat things about this is that it's got this mutate thing happening here, so that if we scroll these mutate buttons up, it's going to change the pattern in real time. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to grab a MIDI controller. I'll grab like the Novation Launch Control XL, just anything with knobs on it. I'm going to plug that into the audio hub, and we're going to route a knob to these mutation buttons. And you can see how you can get some randomization and turnarounds and stuff happening on your drums really quickly. Just wanted to show you guys the routing on this because the Launch Control XL is not really in the shot. It's over here on the side. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to pick one of these knobs over here and I'm going to assign that to these mutation buttons inside of the 808 sequencer. So, when I'm talking about moving buttons, I'm moving knobs rather, it's going to be me, moving this outside the shot, okay? I'm talking through this microphone here. I got the stuff here, and then I'm filming with another iPad 2. iPad Air 2 over here. So that's sort of how we're doing this. Okay, thanks guys. So we'll need to tell that the Launch Control XL is a MIDI modulation source, a MIDI controller. So we're going to go ahead and go to the menu. We'll go to MIDI control. Okay, and we're just going to, let's see here. We're going to click MIDI sources, and we're going to click Launch Control XL. And now knows that that's, an actual source that we can choose. And what we're going to do is on channel 2 here, if we click in that, MIDI window, and we go to the Rozeta parameters here, we can see that we've got, all of the different knobs inside of, the velocity, well, basically just the velocity and the mutation for each one, but that's what we need, right? So we're going to choose mutation 1, and we're going to click learn. And now off the screen, I'm going to, choose any one of these knobs on side of the launch, on the launch control, and I'm going to turn that. And we'll set the range here from, let me go back in there. We'll set the range on this. This is mutation 1, so it'll be for drum 1 inside the circuit. We're going to set this from 0 up to like 50% maximum. So when I turn the knob all the way, it'll go 50%. We're going to go back into that menu, and I'm going to repeat that for drum 2. I'm going to go learn. I'm going to rotate that same knob. We're going to change the range so that at maximum it goes to 50% mutation. Okay, we're going to choose mutation 3 for drum 3. I'm going to click learn. I'm turning that knob off the screen. We're going to set the range from 0 to 50%, so it's maximum 50%. I keep closing that, sorry. Go back into the MIDI control menu, go back into Rozeta, and then mutation 4. Okay, we're going to click learn, scroll that knob off screen, and set this to 50. And now, okay, inside the app, you've got 4 mutation. I'm turning the button. I'm scrolling the knob off, turning the knob rather off screen, and we'll see what that sounds like here. Check this out, guys. So as I turn this up, it's creating basically, remixing my pattern right on the fly. Keep in mind, that we're moving these mutation knobs. You see what I'm saying? Now, I could have assigned that all the way to 100% or any variation of that. They could be different amounts on each channel or whatever. But this just gives me a really quick and easy way, to create variations on the fly in real time with the knob. Bam. So at this point, you're going to want to, maybe do some saving inside of the actual circuit. We'll go back to the sessions mode, and I chose an empty session to begin with, so I can just hit save and hit that again, and now we've saved that. And all we're doing is, setting the drum sound selection and like the mix of those drums into the circuit. It's kind of an odd workflow because if I press play on the circuit, nothing happens. We're literally just going to be using the iPad to be doing the sequencing. Okay, let's go ahead and get something melodic coming out of the circuit, right? We'll add another track. We'll choose another Rozeta sequencer. This time, let's choose the Rozeta Bassline sequencer, and we're going to assign that to the circuit as well. So we'll go back into the menu. We'll click the MIDI routing, and let's see here. We want Rozeta Bassline into the circuit. So we're going to click that here. I think that this MIDI routing window is like a magic place to be inside of AUM, and definitely you're going to want to spend some time checking this out and studying that in more detail, especially if you're interested in routing stuff to other stuff. Okay, but so now that should do it. And see, in the bassline itself, we want to be outputting on channel 1. That's going to be synth 1 inside the circuit. Great. So let's label that here. We're going to call this circuit synth 1, just to keep everything real. In fact, I've got something that's not labeled here, so this is the drum sequencer. We'll call this just drum sequencer for now. Okay. And okay, cool. What I'm trying to do is, let's see, you got the MIDI channel 1, and let's pick a key. Everyone knows I like to write an F minor, so for this, let's go ahead and actually let's do something different this time. Let's pick like I don't know, minor harmonic. Let's write in how about E? Generate, cool. And then cool. We're already getting. Okay, what we've got here is on the. Fantastic. Okay, so what I can do now is we can scroll for a sound that we might, want to start working with, right? So I will turn the volume up on synth 1 on the circuit. It's actually not bad already. I'll click Shift Synth 1. I think that's probably a pretty good sound to use as an example for this. All right. That tweaking action on knob number 2, and this is definitely something that we're going to explore right now. We're going to explore trying to use a Rozeta LFO to automate this knob inside of circuit. Let's check it out. So what we're talking about here is we're talking about automating MIDI CC numbers. And so what I did is I went online and I found some information about the MIDI CC numbers inside of the circuit, so I know what stuff I can send to the circuit and what numbers to choose and how to route this. I'll try to put a link to this graphic file in the description so that you guys can reference these numbers as well in case you want to get this set up with your circuit. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a new track, right? And we're going to add an audio unit extension. We're going to choose Rozeta, and we're going to choose LFO. And we're going to tell the Rozeta LFO that it's connected to the circuit by going to the, I believe, MIDI routing menu. Perfect. Rozeta LFO, MIDI out to the circuit. So now you can see we've got three things inside of AUM routed to the circuit. Fantastic. And what we'll do is we'll set these numbers to do what we want. This is synth 1 inside the circuit, and what I want to do is, what was it, macro 2, I think? Let's double check that. Yeah, for sure. Macro 2, we want to, tweak that. So let's reference this chart here, and it says that synth 1, macro number 2, okay, that's CC number 81. So let's see if we can get that going. Okay, we're going to change the CC number here from its original value all the way up to 81. Can I click? No, I wish I could maybe just double click that, but we'll just do a lot of tapping. Okay, cool, 81. And let's see, we got a minimum value and a maximum value. I kind of like the maximum value almost all the way open, maybe. We'll definitely want to tempo sync this. And let's change the rate to like quarter, and maybe bring our modulation up to about 41 hertz there. Maybe change that shape to like a sample and hold shape, or a maybe the sign is, maybe we want this faster. Yeah, faster. Here we go. This is what I'm talking about. Now we're getting quite a bit of, okay, so hold on. What we're doing here is, you don't see it now that I've turned it off, so I can maybe leave it playing, but okay, perfect. We're turning this movement here is what we're doing to this knob here inside of Circuit using this LFO. This is super cool. Well, I'm going to keep playing, and I'm going to tweak some of these other macros and see if we want to do any sort of automation with Rozeta on any of the other macros. Let's see if we can find something cool. Oh, well, that's definitely something we want to automate. So this is macro number 3 on synth 1. Okay, macro 3 on synth 1 is 82. So we're going to bring this CC number. Oh, cool. We're going to bring this up to 82. Okay, and then let's make that a tempo sync, and let's let's make that one move a bit slower, and let's see here. Getting lots of movement. I'm going to bring the minimum value on that to a higher number so that it doesn't quite, turn the knob down as far. Maybe we'll make, hold on. Maybe we'll make the range on this one quite a bit less so that it's just a subtle amount of movement on this knob. Let's go from like 75 minimum to when the knob goes all the way, it'll be at 100. You can see that we're just, you can see that just compared to our first LFO that we set up, this is a pretty subtle movement. And let's continue. I'll see if we can find something else to automate. Well, absolutely. There we have it. That sounds fantastic. So that's macro 4 on synth 1, and that's CC number 83. So we'll set this third LFO here to CC 83. Okay, and we'll definitely tempo sync that. Okay, so this is basically the resonance of the filter, and I don't want it to be too squelchy, so I'm going to leave the minimum pretty low, and I'm going to bring the maximum value of this, so the maximum resonance to maybe, let's try 60 and see if that's pleasant. That sounds pretty good. So right now we've already got ourselves a little bit of a drum groove, we've got ourselves a little bit of a bass line, and we've got some movement on that bass line, all inside of AUM, all with the Rozeta plugins. Let's go ahead and label this one as, this is our bass, it's our modulation, bass modulations. Done. All right, and let's not forget to save our work inside of AUM. So we'll save this, and we'll give this a name, circuiteering 22 or something. Doesn't matter. But make sure you save in your work, because that definitely does matter. You're also going to want to remember to save on the circuit side of things. Okay, so save And again, I've already set up what session we're in, so we don't have to go back and check. But if we wanted to like make duplicates or other things like that, we could save them in a different slot. But for this, for all practical purposes here, we're just going to keep saving in the same slot. Let's see if we can get a click more variety happening on our bassline. If we open up Rozeta Bassline here and we go to the little mutation window over here, we can start changing up some of this mutation probability. And let's try just 5% on our bassline right now. Let's try 10% on those accents and slides. Maybe 10% on everything. Maybe 20% on those accents and slides. Alright, that's getting just a little bit more movement happening on the bassline, a little bit more randomization and unpredictability and flavor. I like that. Alright. I don't know why I'm double stopping. That's an old school technique. Sorry about that. Okay, it's time to utilize Circuit's internal synth number 2. So we'll go ahead and add ourselves a new track. We'll open up. Let's try... maybe just for ease of the tutorial, we'll just try another arpeggio. And what we can do is we can label this Circuit Synth 2. Okay, and we'll need to tell that this ARP is affecting the circuit. So we'll go back into the wonderful MIDI routing window here, and we'll click that and get that associated with itself. And let's see here. I'm writing in the key of F minor something. Let's find out. E minor harmonic. Okay, so we'll go to the we don't want the ARP. We want another bass line. Sorry about that. Do that instead. Okay, so this is super easy. MIDI routing, mute that in there, whatever. Good deal. Okay, okay, circuit sense 2, good deal. So we want to make sure that this is transmitting on MIDI channel number 2, and so that's gonna transmit to circuit synth 2 on MIDI channel number 2, and we can just make sure that we're in E minor harmonic. Generate. Alright, and we've already got something coming out on the circuit synth 2. If we click shift synth 2, we can scroll through some sounds for that. Maybe turn this to a 16-step pattern. Generate another one. Generate something new. Just kind of keep generating until something strikes you. Really odd, isn't it? These are just the stock presets inside of the circuit, but you might have customized your circuit with your own sounds. It's kind of funky. Maybe bring the circuit's effects tab and put some crazy effects on that. Maybe try some delay on that. audio out of the circuit, but we're hearing that through the iPad, and we're keeping the audio in line by having that limiter on the audio channel. See, make sure that, see? We're doing just fine. We're keeping those peaks in line, but we're not attenuating like a great deal or anything. And that's how you do it, guys. That's how you use the Rozeta amps from Bram Bos to sequence your Novation circuit. One of the things that you can do is you can go in and you've got 8 patterns in a lot of these sequencers. You can copy your pattern, you can paste that into another pattern, you can make a variation of your pattern. You can, then go into the sequencer kind of changing menu, and you can set that to go to the next pattern, go to a random pattern so that it starts switching. You can switch it, your patterns up. But for instance, remember how we assigned that knob off screen a while ago to the mutation aspect of the drums? Let's play this now, and I'll turn that knob up, and we'll hear how that's gonna create some variation and tweakage on the drums and stuff. So I brought the knob up now. I'll show you what you can see on the screen here. So with no mutation, you got just a straight pattern. All the way up now, you've got 50% mutation. I hope you guys have found this useful. There's plenty of other ways to connect your Novation circuit up to your iPad. This isn't the only way to do it. It's just super easy and convenient with the Novation Audio Hub. This is definitely a unique way to control your circuit using these Bram Bos apps and using the probability of mutation and using the ability to generate random patterns or program your own. You don't have to generate random patterns. You can sit here and change these notes and get real precise and make any sort of patterns you like. And you can do the mutation thing on all of these so that any of the patterns you write can have just a slight little bit of variation in probability. Really great for building techno jams and stuff, and you can keep assigning different LFOs to different MIDI CC numbers inside of circuit. You can reference these CC lists. I'll try to put a link to this in the description beneath the video so that you can reference the MIDI CC numbers on your circuit as well. It's really just a matter of just keep loading stuff in and see how creative you can get. Hey guys, I hope you found this useful and maybe it inspired you to come up with some new ways to use your circuit. Until next time, thanks for watching. Hey guys, it takes a lot of work and time to make all these videos, and I really appreciate the support I've gotten so far. If you want to help support the work that I do in this channel, please consider checking out some of my sample packs over on Electronisounds.com, or maybe become a patron for as little as $1 a month, and you can get yourself some bonus downloads as well as supporting creative content here on YouTube. Thanks for watching, guys. Hey guys,